one Navy.
That's pretty varied.
Oh.
So that's a lot. That's pretty varied.
The Marine Corps is the hardest branch of the service you can ever get in. If you make it through Marine Corps training, I joined the Air Force, but I was 14 pounds overweight. They gave me 30 days to lose it, or else I'd have to take a physical again. When they give you a physical, you get a physical from one end of you to the other one.
I see.
And, well, in that 30 days, I decided to get married. I'd have been far better off if I'd have went in the service, I think. But see, I let a bunch of people talk me out of going, because they was telling me all these horror stories, you know, and my own doubts was I didn't think I'd ever pass basic training. I'm not, there's not an athletic bone in my body. I'm a wimp.
Oh.
Now, if they'd had a bunch of kids that needed babysitting, I could have probably done that. That's all I ever done, but I decided to get married, and I called the recruiter up and told him I was going to get married, and he just about had a fit. Because they got some sort of reimbursement for when they talk people into enlisting. You know?
Oh, I see.
And I might have made it. I don't know. I might have. But the basic training looks so hard, you know, and everything. And all my tests came out a mechanical engineer. I don't even know what a mechanical engineer is. I didn't know then, I don't know now.
I guess you had the aptitude for it.
I took the typing test, and at that time I was still going to school, my senior year, and I thought, well, you know, if I join the Air Force, I can finish my schooling out, and you know, maybe get some kind of a good job, you know, or something. I flubbed it up all the way around. But I passed the typing, because at that time I could type 100 words a minute.
Wow.
And take shorthand at about that. And now I can't even, I can still read some of the shorthand, but I can't write it. And when I was in high school, my junior year, sophomore year, junior year, because I did my senior year in Armstrong, my junior year, they had a nationwide, what they call OGA shorthand test competition for the most perfect shorthand notes. and that was nationwide. And the reason why it was OGA was because that was the name of the book that we learned out of, you know. And there were 6 of those. There were little pins that had OGA championship on them. There were 6 of those, and I got one of them.
Wow.
I was so proud. I could write it, perfect notes, but when I go to read it to transcribe what I wrote, I couldn't read it back.
Oops. Mm.
I don't know. I don't know why I couldn't read it back. You know. They dictated what we wrote, you know, and I could do that. But then when it come to reading it back, I couldn't read it back. So I don't know. But I got one of those pens, and I thought that was just, I don't know whatever happened to it. Moved too many times. But because see, I was in California. I finished up the 8th grade in California, and I went my freshman, sophomore, and junior year in California. And then I came back home because Mom was sick. And by then I was 18 years old, you know, and I had flunked a couple of grades, my 1st grade and the 3rd grade. So I was older than everybody else. And that was always kind of an embarrassment, you know.
Yeah, I understand that.
I shouldn't have let it bother me, but it did. It never bothered me when I was in California. Nobody knew me out there. But, you know, when I come back here, well, all family back here, you know, and everything. And if I'd have stayed one more year, I would have probably had it made. But I didn't stay that one more year. Mom was sick, and she just needed me here. So, and that's when I was going to join the Air Force, was because they said they could defer me for a year, you know, and I thought that's good, you know, I can go ahead and finish my senior year, because I quit in February before I would have graduated in May. Now, was that dumb or what?
Does seem a little short-sighted.
But I've often wondered if I'd have went on, whether I would have made it or not. I think about it sometime, and I think you would have made it because they would have pushed you. But then with the recruiter that recruited me, had to go to Kansas City for my physical. And he told me, he said, I don't know why, I was joining the Air Force, so I don't know why an Army recruiter was doing everything, you know. But
yeah, the wind's picking up a little bit out there.
he said that more girls committed suicide in basic training than at any other time. It scared me.
Mm-hmm. That was probably his intention.
You know, it scared me. Because my life had been a little rocky anyway, you know, and that's what I was doing in California, was to get me away from home. And But I still wonder, you know, had I have went ahead, um, what would have, whether I would have made that basic training and did everything that I wanted to do. I really wanted to travel. I wanted to see some of the country, you know. And the way it is, the only thing I've seen is California and Missouri, Illinois. But
Well, you've got to add Florida to your list. Go and take a visit.
Haven't seen Florida yet. Haven't seen Florida yet. See, when I went out there. I went out there with my half brother and his wife. Well, we went to White Salem, Washington, the state of Washington, and then Uncle Ed and Aunt May sent me a bus ticket, and I went from there to Sacramento, California, on a bus.
Uh-huh.
And they picked me up at the bus station. And when I came back 3 years later, I came back on a Greyhound bus all the way from California back to Missouri. Because I know we came into Boonville. And I hadn't seen any of the family, you know, for over 3 years. And I didn't hardly even recognize some of them, you know. 3 years makes a big difference.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah. I was supposed to have went back. I had a return ticket. I was supposed to have went back. But I didn't because Mom was sick and I don't know, it's too bad hindsight ain't as good or foresight ain't as good as hindsight.
Yeah. As they say, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah. Yeah. But it you know, I do have to wonder sometime whether I would have made it or not. Because I never did the things that the other kids did. For the biggest reason, I was always sitting at home, you know, sitting in the house, babysitting with younger kids, you know. And I just never had a chance to even be a kid. Because I was always babysitting somebody else's kids. All of our kids was younger than me, except for one. The rest of them were all younger than me. And everybody else's daddy's brother had something like 14 kids. And, you know, there was, Uncle Mose had Vicky's dad and Mom had, I don't know, 10 or 12. And there was all these little kids, you know. And the other kids outside playing hide and seek, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, and I'm sitting in the house taking care of everybody else's kids. So I don't know. I was just an oddball. And it's been that way all along. Joe and Judy, they go to my sister's house, the one in Illinois. They'd go to her house, stay a couple weeks, you know, or however long and stuff like that. They come by my house, pick me up, we go eat, and they bring me home, drop me off, and that's, you know. I've spent a couple of nights in their house, but they have never spent a night in my house. Ever. think we went up there. Me and Bud went up there, I think, maybe twice. And I've been up there with Joe, and I've been up there with Sammy. And I've been up there by myself. When Brian was in Fort Riley, Kansas, he took me to Fort Riley. Joe picked me up there, and I stayed a week with them. That was after my first husband died. I stayed a week with them, and then he put me on a bus, and I came home. But, I never, where I seen them at most of the time was at Mom's. They'd come to Mom's, and then they got weird, and they would, I don't know what the reason was, but they would never sleep in one of Mom's beds.
Huh.
If they did, they brought their own sheets and their own pillowcases. And then they started staying in motels instead of even staying at the house.
Huh.
And it hurt Mom's feelings,
Yeah. I guess they were too prideful.
Yeah. Because she didn't understand why. And I don't understand why. Mom kept her beds clean, and the kids were not allowed to play on the beds. So I don't know what, But anyway, it's neither here nor there. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done. I bet we're going to have a windy night, you think?
That's starting to be that way. I'm not surprised with how quickly the temperature went down.
I checked the temperature at right before you got here, and it was 77 degrees. So.
And not too long ago, it was 99.
Yeah. Yep. And that's good storm breeders right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That meatloaf was good, thank you.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Oh.
Oh, it's no problem. I enjoy it too. Yeah. I made it a little differently this time.
How often do you make meatloaf? Twice a week? Once a week?
Maybe about once every 2 weeks.
About once every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I thought about calling you one night this week. Telling you I want some chili, but I didn't.
Well, that's okay. I think I probably would have obliged you. I said I probably would have obliged you.
I just, if I ever do that, though, I'll pay for this stuff.
Sure.